3, 2, 1, let's go!
Okay, I got a quick one for you guys. What are your thoughts on these unidentified floating phenomena,
Oh,
whatever they're calling it?
yeah, I've been seeing that on the news channels and other mediums that they shot down, right? The
One
United
over the
States
Yeah,
government
Yukon
shot
four of
down.
them.
and one
Was it four?
in
Or
Alaska.
four?
There's the first one was the first two were the Chinese weather balloons. Then there were three other ones, one in Yukon, one in Alaska, and then another one that they just said were unidentified aerial phenomenon, or the
Flying object,
UAPs. Yeah,
UFO.
the technical term is UAP, I think, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And one was the size of like a rectangular thing the size of a car. So they're different sizes, different shapes, and all they're saying is that they're unmanned, and that they posed a threat to commercial flight paths or whatever.
Yeah, they're in the air traffic,
hmm
and they're in the path of the planes. Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying they're UFOs, like from outer space with aliens in them.
Well, that's what they said on the news channels that I
Well,
subscribe to.
it's still UFOs. They're just not space ones.
Well,
So you don't think there's?
do we know now the origins of these UAPs, whatever?
They are not saying, and that's why
No,
a
yeah,
lot of
we're
people
not hearing
are,
anything.
gesticulating and theorizing because no one has come out and said, these are definitely, XYZ. They're just like, they unidentified flying things that we shot down, and they're not from China. That's it, all they're saying.
So they
So,
they scratched out the serial number, no traces.
yeah. So they're probably,
That's what it's-
my theory is that they are domestic, like either like
Oh,
an enthusiast or, those people that make those homemade rockets and they shoot them up and get like aerial footage and all that stuff. They don't usually check the flight paths of airplanes and check in with the FAA to say, we're going to be launching a rocket, It might be something like that. But the size of a car, that's a
Yeah, I
pretty.
said for the size that those for the balloons are. Even like the Chinese one, the payload, they said it was like the size of what, three
Buses.
full size buses. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to send a car-sized vehicle out there, right? I mean, Tesla sent a Tesla in orbit,
Into
right?
space. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, they're
It's
not
still
saying
fine.
they're not saying it's the weight more than I think it's just like the size, like
The size.
the girth.
So what do you think it is then? If it's not from China, you think it's from a domestic company but the Yukon and
No.
Alaska, those are pretty remote places. So maybe some kind of scientific probes or something
So I was
from
listening to a
like
podcast and
Exxon.
another podcast, and they were talking about just the way the winds go is that they go they blow from west to east, I believe, like the global winds. So like for them to actually come those directions, they'd have to like basically almost like circle the globe, I think, or from send them from Russia or something like that. And yeah, that's not happening. So I don't think they can be domestic unless they're
Well, I mean, if they launch from Alaska or launch from the Yukon, and that's where they are, so that's a possibility. So it could
yeah.
be a company that's out there trying to, you know, see the clouds or, you know, take pictures of the ice shelf or something, and they just didn't mention it to anybody because they're very remote places. But now the U.S. is just on a high alert because of the Chinese thing. So that they're shooting
Yep.
down anything
Any
that's,
one of them. Well, yeah.
That makes sense to me. I mean, if you look back at the spycraft and the things that people could invent, just to listen in to people or just oversee, scout, whatever.
Right.
It's pretty intricate, like things are unassumable. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I definitely, unidentified objects in space. I mean, well, in the air, I guess at this point. It's something I don't want to discount that fear, right? Like I feel like that fear or that worry is legitimate.
Right.
If I was the military, I would be on much higher
High-
alert,
High alert, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
good thing they didn't
right.
make that movie up now, because they would have shot that house down.
Well, they would see that there's like heat signatures in it, right?
Blown that dude out of the sky. Him and all
Like,
1,000 balloons.
balloons.
Right.
Enhance.
Each one with a little missile.
Later.